Hi, everyone. This is Travis.
Hey, this is Jonathan.
And we'd like to welcome all of you to the 100 Ways to Love a Cat podcast.
It's the podcast that eventually plays the song 100 Ways to Love a Cat. We've done it since the beginning. We still do it today. I know that we hear from so many people who want to hear the song and who want to know how we're doing numbers-wise. So I'll just give you a quick update. We need to do a little housekeeping up front here. Numbers are way down.
Which I don't understand, because if I remember specifically last week, we reached out, and it's not easy to do that, people, to ask for help, especially when you've been so successful. It's kind of demeaning, and it's beneath you.
Well,
you shouldn't have to do that once you have made it. You should not have to say, hey, can you give us a hand? We ask you to maybe find us some more listeners or remind people to listen, and I guess nobody...
Well, one thing Audrey says is don't start off your podcast on a negative Nancy note, so I'm trying to stay positive with my introduction and say we're up to number 7 on the charts, but we're down to 60 listeners.
Yeah.
And that's because, according to the Podcast Authority and Tyler Taylor and everyone we talk to, people have just stopped listening to podcasts.
And I guess we could be 0.
We could be 0.
But
We're lucky
7,
to have...
So I don't know. It's just that you have this idea, and you see how loyal people are, how they come and listen to you again and again since the about 2 or 3 back. And then they just go away, and you ask them, can you, and I don't mean to be negative, I'm sorry, but it's just like, why did I stoop so low to even try? You know, that's what I'm saying. It's on me. It's not on anybody else.
That's important. You don't ask people for help.
Well, I won't.
You have to do it yourself. I don't know if this whole podcast thing is just cratering. Maybe it's a pet rock sort of thing.
Oh, sure. I mean, everything has its limits. Everything has its
Where did everyone
frame.
go? It's great to be in the top 10 of podcasts again.
7 is nothing to sneeze at.
But I wish we had more than 60 people listening.
Well, that would be, better.
Because money-wise, I guess this is an announcement, of sorts. So it's very exciting as far as my future is concerned. But I've been talking to several armed forces recruiters about joining up because I need the income and I need the security and I need to know that I'm going to have a pension. And I'm leaning Air Force now because apparently they'll still take someone who's my age. So
they will? I'm surprised at that. I just thought that was, and far be it from me. I'm not. It's the Air Force's fault if you're too old. It's not your fault. You can't help how old you are. You're born when you're born. You don't have a say in that. But I could have sworn, you get past a certain age, they're just not interested.
Well, they couldn't tell me exactly what was going on, but they said something is up, and in the coming days, they're going to need some extra hands.
Huh.
So I don't, not to worry.
Maybe they're desperate. I thought I was.
They
maybe
said
the Air Force
some dark days are coming, and I wouldn't be surprised. You might get a call. So I want to get in on the ground floor of this.
Well, there isn't a draft anymore that I'm
yet.
aware of.
Not
well,
yet.
No, but even if there was, I think at a certain age there's a drop. If you're lucky enough to, because they have to call a lot of phone numbers already. They have to send out a lot of letters as it is.
Look,
it's kind of pointless to go. I mean, really, when you get to in your 30s,
I was desperate, and I was walking by, and the guy came outside because I was going to get some, depression gelato, and he said, "Hey, you're walking by my door at 2 p.m. Are you employed?" And I said, "Well, I have a podcast." And he said, "Perfect. Come in. I want to talk to you." He was relieved to see me, Travis.
Really?
And that's what I don't want to worry in the 60, 50. Oh, have you seen this? I got an app from Tyler Taylor. It shows us in real time people listening to us, and we just lost a few. Oh, we got one more.
Okay.
Oh, no. I had it upside down. So I just want to tell people, be careful out there, I guess. And if you're old and you don't have a job and maybe you're addicted to something and you're worried, like, I'm never going to fit in somewhere, go look at the Air Force. And not just the Air Force. Look at all of them, because I guess they're all a lot less picky, because they can listen. They get reports like we get podcast reports. They get like, hey.
Air Force reports.
Yeah, batten down the hatches. So.
Right.
Anyway, I'm just thinking about it. I mean,
well, it's a very noble. Thank you for your service. If I serve, yeah, if you serve.
mean, they said if I were a younger person. I mean, here's the rub: if I were a younger person, there's bonuses,
sure,
and there's assurances.
Sure. See, I knew there had to be something. Whereas,
in my case, it's more of a, come on, and let's just see how if you pass the physical. And, other things.
See, that would be my concern at a certain age. I mean, regardless of how healthy you are at your age, that's going to look unhealthy compared to people who are much younger.
Oh, sure.
So that's
I mean, if you put like, The Rock or Jason Statham, and you stick them like in a room in the Army where they examine you and they're in their boxer shorts, and then you bring in like a teenager, like a 17, 18-year-old boy.
They're going to seem sick.
I mean, I would, even The Rock, if I were The Rock in that situation, as soon as the teenage boy came in, I would be like, get me out of here.
Yeah.
And I told my recruiter that, and he said, listen, don't worry. It's not a contest. It's not a popularity contest.
Well, far be it from me to tell the Air Force how to run anything.
No.
If they decide that you are fit and you're obviously willing to serve our country, you should. Yes, absolutely.
I mean, you're going to need some of this Air Force money.
Well, I don't know about me. No. Things
are pretty bad, and I'm thinking. Okay, so I may be old. I may not be able to shoot. I have the tremors, but I could mop up blood. I could clean up.
Certainly,
around.
there's things that you. I'm not saying
if things get bad enough, I'll be needed.
Sure, I understand that. And if a war broke out or something terrible happened to our country, certainly,
fingers crossed.
I would wish I would do whatever I could to serve my country, if not in the capacity of doing a great many physical things, marching and shooting and.
I went
jumping.
in there.
There's a lot of jumping, and at my age, I'm not going to learn how to fly a jet. That's just not going to happen.
No, but you know what you've got that teenage boy in his underwear might not have is you've got wisdom.
Well,
you've got life experience, and you lived a long time. That's what the recruiter told me.
But again, that's good, but it is not combat experience. It's an entirely different kind of experience.
Why do you? So the boys come back from the front, and they said, things could have gone this way or that way. I feel like I made a bad decision. What do you think, Travis? You said, well, I wasn't there, but I've lived a long time, and if I were you, I would have gone the other way.
Sure.
And they're like, okay, well, tomorrow. I'll keep that in mind. Thanks, Pops. I mean, it's an easy scenario to invent in your mind to make you feel better about your choices.
Right. But in the actuality of a war zone situation, whatever you plan in your head, sometimes just goes out, the window.
No, when things get bad, I mean, I think they'll pull you from cleaning the latrine so the young people can be in the front. If most of those young people go, they'll say, okay, get those two. You and me. Like they're
right.
They're old, but they'll take a bullet for us. I mean, that's what I'm looking at. And if things don't come to that, then I'm sitting in an office. I'm signing out paper clips to people who need to write a report about the airplane underneath of the airplane that looks ready to fly. And here's a paper clip. Put that in an envelope. Here's your envelope. Send that to the general, and we'll keep things safe and secure. I can't lift. I can't run. I can't carry. I can give you a paper clip. I can give you an envelope.
And those things are sometimes mandatory in the armed services.
The recruiter said, office supplies, forget about it. That's like half of what we do.
Right. Well, best of luck to you. If that's something that you want to do and pursue, then
I can send
go
my
for it.
pay
Hey,
every
man.
month right back to Tyler Taylor's mother, and she can send it to the bank to keep the payments on this apartment complex, because
Are you sure that you want to leave her?
I don't have any choices.
Well,
I don't have
I said
many
I
choices.
wouldn't, and I don't mean to be rude about that, but I don't like to get involved in other people's finances.
I wish
That's
there
just
was a
rule
way
that I have.
I'm going to think about it. All I know is that this apartment complex is killing me. I thought it was going to be passive income, and I'm working my hind end off trying to keep the money flowing to that thing.
Tell me
how many?
about
20 units.
Well,
How many toilets do you think they're going to break a day? It's unbelievable. How do you break a toilet, then 5 days later you break another toilet? What are you doing in there? Oh, my God. I can't tell people how to live in their apartment, but I guess I need to. I wrote a book of rules and regulations, and now I feel like I'm the Army. I go out for gelato, and the Air Force is like, come join me up, and I'm saying, okay. Oh, God.
Yeah.
It's like you're at your lowest, then you're at your highest, then you're sort of in the middle, and now it's like your lowest again.
Well,
what a roller coaster.
Well, at least it is a roller coaster, so you're probably going to head back up at some point, and maybe that will be when you join the Air Force. I don't know.
Well, it's worked for other people who are just like really
I can't speak
miserable.
I mean, I would not say that I am miserable yet, but I certainly don't have any cash flow at the moment. That's a definite. It's an honor to be at number 7, but there is not a dime to be seen from being at number 7, evidently. That does not bring in any money, as far as I can tell, as far as doing this is concerned. And I own a castle now, and I have to... First off, it needs a lot of fixing up to begin with. It needs a lot of work done, and I've done a lot of work, but you have to keep up the work that's already been done, and also there's so much more work that needs to be done. So I could be in a better place. I don't know about joining the Air Force. I don't know if they would take me.
I asked them if they had a podcast department, and they said no. Mm-hmm. But I don't know if that's set in stone or if it's something we could work on.
Maybe that's something they're planning. Not yet. We could shoot for that.
You watch those movies, and it's the '60s, and it's Vietnam, and they've always got a radio on. And it's always
Good Morning Vietnam. One of the best war movies ever made. Good Morning Vietnam. It was all on the radio.
Why couldn't we be Good Morning Vietnam, but on a podcast?
Vietnam, we don't. There's not a conflict there anymore, thankfully.
That's not what I'm hearing.
Really? Maybe I will be getting a call. Let's get the song playing. That's what we're here to do. I
what
guess
is the
that's
song
what
again?
That's what we're here to do. 100 Ways to Love a Cat is what we play.
I gotta take my ginkgo.
I guess we're gonna play it. That's what I thought. I think I still do, sort of. That's why people were coming, but I don't.
Maybe the song is the weak link in all this.
Well, I hate to think that, but at this point, I don't know what.
I'm open to anything, but nobody said that out loud.
I haven't heard anyone say that yet, so.
All right,
I haven't heard anything from anybody, to be honest. I would take the negative.
And
I would take a negative advice, any kind.
Nobody wants to listen to a podcast, and nobody wants to listen to ours on top of that.
Yeah,
so
it's a combination of the two.
But here's this song.
Okay.
There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 1. Keep a tidy house for them. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 2. Be sure to clip their claws. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 3. Scoop their box daily. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Brush them with a hairbrush. 100 loving ways. 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 There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 5. Don't squeeze their paws hard. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 6. Give them some fresh water. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 7. Let them have a fish. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 8. Buy them a scratching post. 100 loving ways. 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 There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 9. Put them in your lap. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 10. Be quiet when they're sleeping. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 11. Whisper, I love you. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 12. Rub their soft belly. 100 loving ways. 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 There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 13. Make sure their tail is clean. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 14. Give them a yarn ball. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 15. Make them a nice bed. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 16. Buy him some catnip. 100 loving ways. 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 There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 17. Play them some music. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 18. Get them a cute collar. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 19. Make sure they're vaccinated. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 20. Take their picture. 100 loving ways. 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 There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 21. Brush their teeth. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 22. Let them watch TV. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 23. Don't let them be outside by themselves. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 24. Feed them some cat food. 100 loving ways. 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 There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 25. Make sure their eyes are clean. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 26. Put a liner in their box. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 27. Give them a mat to wipe their feet on. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 28. Don't forget them on Christmas. 100 loving ways. 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 There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 29. Make sure they're spayed or neutered. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 30. Hold them like a baby. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 31. Let them have a towel or blanket. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 32. Keep your toilet lid down. 100 loving ways. 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 There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 33. Don't let them chew on power cords. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 34. Set them by the window. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 35. Cat-proof your home. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 36. Change their litter weekly. 100 loving ways. 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 There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 37. Praise them lavishly. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 38. Never feed him chicken bones. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 39. Teach them a funny trick. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 40. Give them a toy mouse. 100 loving ways. 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 There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 41. Clean up their hairballs. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 42. Keep them away from candles. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 43. Give him a separate zone. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 44. Never play with them aggressively. 100 loving ways. 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 There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 45. Increase his cuddle time. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 46. Be sure to watch his weight. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 47. If you leave, turn on the radio. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 48. Scold him firmly but with kindness. 100 loving ways. 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 There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 49. Respond when he meows. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 50. Give them a thing of cat grass. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 51. Scratch under his chin. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 52. Remind him that you love him. 100 loving ways. 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 There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 53. Give them a box to play in. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 54. If they're old, help them get down. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 55. Let them lick you with their rough tongue. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 56. Record precious memories. 100 loving ways. 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 There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 57. Dress them up in ribbons. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 58. Give them a flea treatment. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 59. Make a vet appointment. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 60. Give them a little wet food. 100 loving ways. 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 There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 61. When they scratch you, don't get angry. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 62. Give them some private time. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 63. Treat them with respect. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 64. When he grooms himself, say good job. 100 loving ways. 100 loving ways. 100 loving ways. ways, 100 loving ways, 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat, 100 loving ways. Way 65, let them chase a laser pointer, 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat, 100 loving ways. Way 66, clean out their ears, 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat, 100 loving ways. Way 67, never smoke around them, 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat, 100 loving ways. Way 68, buy a sturdy cat carrier, 100 loving ways, 100 loving ways, 100 loving ways, 100 loving ways, 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat, 100 loving ways. Way 69, listen to them purr, 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat, 100 loving ways. Way 70, dented by temptations, 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat, 100 loving ways. Way 71, give them your full attention, 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat, 100 loving ways. Way 72, don't trap them in the laundry basket, 100 loving ways, 100 loving ways, 100 loving ways, 100 loving ways, 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat, 100 loving ways. Way 73, let them sleep in bed with you, 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat, 100 loving ways. Way 74, make sure they're not locked in the closet, 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat, 100 loving ways. Way 75, don't let them play in plastic bags, 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat, 100 loving ways. Way 76, give them a massage, 100 loving ways, 100 loving ways, 100 loving ways, 100 loving ways, 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat, 100 loving ways. Way 77, touch him as you pass by, 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat, 100 loving ways. Way 78, if he's on the couch, don't be mad, 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat, 100 loving ways. Way 79, if they hate fans, turn the fan off, 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat, 100 loving ways. Way When there's a bird outside, say, hey, look, 100 loving ways. 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 There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 81. Intrigue them with a funny sound. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 82. Don't forget sardine time. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 83. Let him play with your old socks. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 84. Stroke in the direction that his fur goes. 100 loving ways. 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 There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 85. Admire his long whiskers. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 86. Keep his box away from his food. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 87. Pretend that he's a piano. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 88. Don't interrupt them while they're eating. 100 loving ways. 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 There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 89. When they're scared, go and comfort them. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 90. Let him have a lick. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 91. If their breath stinks, give them greenies. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 92. Give him a ball with a bell in it. 100 loving ways. 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 There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 93. If it's hot, put ice in their bowl. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 94. Let him drink out of the sink. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 95. Don't vacuum if it scares him. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 96. Draw a picture of him. 100 loving ways. 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 There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 97. If you drop some food, it's theirs now. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 98. Read him a book. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 99. Feed him again. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 100. Just love them every day. 100 loving ways. 100 loving ways. 100 loving ways. 100 loving ways. 100 loving ways.
There it is. I hope that's what you wanted.
Who can tell? I mean, we're just throwing stuff against the wall at this point.
We're trying. We're trying. We are. We're still trying. I'm still here, aren't I? I mean, I should have the drywall out right now, to be quite honest with you. I need to be somewhere, and I know you got toilets to deal with, and I've got tile and just a lot of, like, chicken wire. I didn't know.
Can you just walk away? Didn't they do that?
Well,
during the when there was a housing crisis and people lived in.
Well, you know, if I walked away, I could walk away from this podcast too. I could just as easily walk away from the castle. I could. Yes, you can walk away if you choose to walk away
from a podcast.
Sure. Anywhere. you can walk away from it. I mean, if you have headphones on and you're listening to a podcast and already walking, you can't necessarily walk away. You know what I mean?
Take the headphones off.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
I mean, I know we were going to shut. To me, there's a difference between shutting it down and walking away. Because if you shut it down, you say, "Okay, I've thought about things, and my partner and I are in agreement. We're shutting it down."
Right.
Now we were going to do that a few episodes again, and then Moonshot.
Yeah.
We made it.
On top.
Top of the world.
And, number 7, again, is not the worst place to be, I don't guess. Are we still at number 7?
I can't tell. There's a lot of fluctuation right now.
Last I heard, we were at 7, and I don't know where we're at.
I mean, according to this, it's like 19. It's 4.
Geez.
It's 136.
You really need to get Tyler to show you how that works.
The podcast space right now is there's just a lot of movement, and we are part of that.
We're moving all over the charts, I guess. We went, but it was
but
better.
The
when
listenership is going from 50 to like 69.
Yeah. Oh, that's going up then, 50 to 69, right?
I should have said 69 to 50.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you so much for listening. Again, those of you who are still with us, we asked you to.
I'll be here next week whether I'm serving our nation or not. It's just.
Okay. They'll let you do this even if you're.
Well, I'd have to call in.
That'd be fun.
If we were in a safe.
If need be, I don't have a problem with that.
If it's safe, I can do it, and they'll be listening, and they don't want to, so I'll be on their schedule. But yeah,
whenever. Okay. Well, we'll work that out. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Thank you again for those of you who are sticking by us through thick and thin. We couldn't do this without you. We could use a little more, help on your end, but
not to sound desperate.
No, but if you wanted to let people know about it and use what is it? Social media is what you use. You use social medias to share and suggest, invite. Yeah. We can only do so much of that.
But again, we don't. You know what? Again, not to be negative. We don't begin it negative. Don't end it negative. Do what you want to. Listen or don't. Podcasts are over. That's fine. We'll do it on our own, with or without you. Even if we don't have any listeners, and I go to war. The end. Travis is living in a castle that's falling apart, and he's underwater at the bank, and it's literally the moat is rising, right? So it's
the moat. In. Oddly enough, you leave it to him, and it's yes, I'm going to drain it, and let's get this nasty water out, and then we'll see if they're about getting good water in or clean water.
And it's more
bad water. I don't know what.
I don't understand engineering or
I don't know either.
But that's a movie, Bridge on the River Kwai, where they have to build a bridge and there's water.
Have to in order to win.
They blow it up?
War. That's a military thing. They have to build a bridge in order to win. World War II, and it's very difficult for them. And the Japanese do everything they can to stop. They were our enemies at the time.
Well, that's racist.
Well, at the time they were. They're not now. Thankfully, I'm glad everybody gets along. But back then, they hated bridges. They did not want people building bridges. They put a stop to it.
Well, I'm going to say this is a world where bridges matter, and I'm building a bridge to people who still want to listen to podcasts and say, come on over. If you've given us a try, give us another one. Next week is going to be probably our best episode ever.
Well, that's what I plan on. Either way.
I mean, we plan on it every week. Remember when it was just like, oh, let's go get a sandwich and we'll do our thing, and now, wow.
Yeah. All right. Thank you for listening.